Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
December 1st, 1976, Pune City. It's a cold evening, 8 p.m. People are hurrying home from work, but the fog is forcing them to go slowly. There are very few people outside. People are going home, preparing to sleep after dinner. In a certain area of Pune, there was a bungalow called Smruti bungalow. It was a very grand bungalow because a great Sanskrit scholar lived there. People respected him greatly, and he was quite renowned in that area of the city because he was among the very wealthy and very learned people. Additionally, his respect in society was quite high. So, at 8 p.m. that night, 5 people were present in this house. Kashinath Shastri Abhyankar, who was the head of the household and 88 years old, his 70-year-old wife, Indira Ai, along with a 19-year-old grandson, Dhananjay, and a 21-year-old granddaughter, Jai. Also present was their maid, Sakubai, who worked in their house. These 5 people were inside the house, sitting comfortably. But then, at 8:10 o'clock, the doorbell rings at the house. And once again, the doorbell rings loudly. 88-year-old Kashinath Abhyankar reaches to open the door. When he opens the door, 4 young men are standing in front of him. He thinks they might be asking for something. Before Kashinath can say anything to them, they attack Kashinath Abhyankar. They put a cloth in Kashinath's mouth and quickly make a noose around his neck with a nylon rope, and this rope is blue. After that, they put the rope around his neck and go inside, closing the house door. When they go inside the house, the 4 family members who were already present in the house are very scared seeing all this. And these 4 men strangle Kashinath Abhyankar in front of his family members. Until now, these people did not know who these people were and what they wanted. Seeing all this, Kashinath Abhyankar's wife screams, and when she screams, their gaze falls on her. After killing Kashinath Abhyankar, it is the turn of his wife, Indrabai. Then, those 4 people go to Kashinath Abhyankar's wife and kill her in the same way, by putting a blue nylon rope around her neck. After this, it is the turn of their housemaid, Sakubai. She is also killed with the same rope. Then, at number 4, it is the turn of their grandson, Dhananjay. And after that, they also put a cloth in his mouth and then kill him by putting a rope around his neck like a noose. Now, 21-year-old Jaya screams and cries seeing all this. She could not understand what these people wanted. Now, the eyes of those 4 fall on Jaya. Now, they had to kill Jaya. But before that, they scare and threaten Jaya, make her sit down, and later ask her to take off all her clothes. Now, Jaya takes off all her clothes. After that, they scare and threaten Jaya and ask her where the valuable items in the house are. Jaya tells them everything she knows about the valuable items as much as possible. After this, it is Jaya's turn. They put the rope around Jaya's neck in the same way, and she is also killed. After that, those 4 people kill them and leave from there. Now it is 10 o'clock at night. It is the same city of Pune. Kashinath Abhyankar's son and his daughter-in-law, who had gone out for dinner, return home. They had no idea what was happening inside. When they see their door open, they are a little surprised. But when they go inside the house and see the condition of their 5 family members, the ground beneath their feet gives way. They could not understand what had happened here. Due to so many noises, a crowd gathers here. When people come inside and see, they are also surprised at what has happened. After this, the police receive information that a murder has taken place in this area of Pune. The police thought it was one murder. The police arrive there to do their job. When they see the crowd of people, they have a slight doubt that something is wrong. But when they remove the crowd and go inside that bungalow, there were 5 murders instead of 1. The police were also surprised at what was happening here. Then a police officer's gaze falls on Jaya, whose body had no clothes on. And seeing all this, they carefully examine all 5 bodies. There they notice that every body has a blue nylon rope around its neck. Seeing all this, the police are even more surprised because they had already seen this murder a month ago. Exactly 1 month ago, on October 31, 1976, in the same city of Pune, in Achut Joshi, who was a businessman, had a good business and a lot of money. At night, he goes home and is sitting with his wife when 4 people enter the house. Those 4 people beat up these 2, they tie their hands and feet, and later put a cloth in their mouths and strangle them there with a blue nylon rope. Later, they start messing with the items in the house. They throw things around and try to steal necessary and expensive items. But then the 4 people feel that someone is coming from outside. They hide, and Joshi's son, Anand Joshi, comes inside the house. He was also a child. These 4 people who were already unknown and were secretly waiting for him, as soon as he arrived, they attacked him and caught him too. Now, like the previous 2 people, they should have killed him, but they don't. They strip Anand Joshi of all his clothes. He cries, screams, and begs, but after stripping him, they ask him where the expensive and valuable items in his house are. What does a child know? He says that the items are here and there, and he tells them everything he knows. Now, when these 4 people see that there is nothing in this house, they had robbed a businessman's house but found nothing. They are a little disappointed, but they kill this child, Anand Joshi, and leave. When the police team arrives there, they are surprised, because this was the first case where 3 murders had occurred simultaneously. When the police are conducting their investigation, they smell a strange odor throughout the house. This was a fragrance like a very strong perfume. The police don't pay attention to it, but it seemed as if those who committed these murders deliberately did this to provoke them. And secondly, Anand Joshi, their son, had all his clothes stripped off. And the third thing was that all the belongings in this house were scattered. Although it's possible that there was a fight or struggle in the room where they killed the Joshi family and things got scattered, but here, things were scattered in the adjacent rooms as well. Seeing this, anyone could say that the people who came to this house and killed these people definitely came with the intention of theft. And the police also knew that these were no ordinary thieves. And they also knew that there were 2, 3, 4, or 5 people here, because it didn't seem like one person could do this. The forensic team takes all the fingerprints found inside the house. But a day later, it is revealed that all these fingerprints belong to the Joshi family members, meaning all 3 of them. And apart from these 3, no other member lived in their house. The police understand all this and realize that the gang is very dangerous and quite advanced, because they definitely wore gloves. They knew that the police would come and catch them. They wore gloves, and the police didn't understand why Anand Joshi's clothes were stripped off and why there was a strange fragrance coming from the house. Now, let's go back to December 1st. There have been 5 murders at the Abhyankar family's house. The police were working inside, and here too, they were getting a strange fragrance. However, at that time, this wasn't noticed much. Now there was an atmosphere of fear among the people of Pune. No one would go out of their house at night because people knew that there was a gang in the city that would come to their houses and kill them. And no one knew how many of them there were or who they were. And people had stopped trusting strangers. Now at night, cinemas wouldn't even show movies because no one wanted to watch them. And above all, at night, all the places where people used to go and hang out would become deserted. It was already cold, and all the roads were empty. The police felt that there was fear in people's minds, which was indeed very high. The police team calls the CRPF to boost morale, because the police wanted to assure people that the police were also working and the CRPF team was also working for them. Now, the police put all their efforts into catching those who
killed 3 members of the Joshi family and later 5 members of the Abhyankar family, and the police had no clue. They felt that no one would commit such a big crime for theft. There could be a bigger reason behind it. The police were paying full attention to this. And above all, the police also didn't know whether these 2 murders were committed by the same person or by the same gang. If the murders at these 2 places were committed by different gangs or different people, then the police's work and the pressure on the police would increase because now they had to catch not 1 but 2 gangs. While doing this, the new year also passes in this sorrow. The month of January and February also pass. Now, the date is March 23rd, 1977. In the evening, the police receive a report that Mulama dead body was found on the banks of the river. When the body was found, the police team immediately went there. Upon reaching there, the police saw that the body was tied to an iron ladder. Seeing all this, the police understood that this was also a murder. Looking at the body, it did not seem that the corpse had been floating in the water for many days. It seemed that the person had died recently and looked quite young. The police inspector noticed something. He saw that the rope around the person's neck was a blue nylon rope, and the way the rope was tied in a knot was exactly how the 3 members of the Joshi family were killed, with similar knots. And also, all 5 members of the Abhyankar family were killed with the same type of knot and the same color nylon rope. The police realized that the killer here was one person, and this was a case of serial killing. Now, attention was paid to that dead body. An ID card was found near it, which revealed who the deceased was. The card read Anil Gokhale, and another thing written on the ID card was the college name, Abhinav Kalam Mahavidyalaya, as it was a college ID. Now the police hoped to find the next clue at Abhinav Kalam Mahavidyalaya. On the other hand, the forensic team stated that Anil Gokhale had died just 1 day prior. So the police quickly went to Abhinav Kalam Mahavidyalaya. There, they questioned the students who knew Anil Gokhale. They asked them who they last saw Anil Gokhale with, who he spent most of his time with, if he fought with anyone, and what the fight was about. The police tried to find out his complete history. A boy came to the police and said, "Don't tell anyone my name, but the last time I saw Anil Gokhale was with Rajendra Jakal." Saying this, the boy left, and the police tried to find Rajendra Jakal. The police went a little further. Rajendra Jakal was standing at the gate, completely carefree, like a student who doesn't know what class is like, just wandering around the ground all day. Anyway, the police told him that they needed to question him and took him to the station. Madhusudan Holi, the SP, was completely in charge of this case. He asked Rajendra Jakal, "Tell me, what were you doing on March 23rd, March 22nd? I mean, tell me about your lifestyle, your life, what you were doing that day." Rajendra Jakal said, "I was with my 3 friends, Dilip Sutra, Shantaram Jagtap, and Manavar Harun Shah." The police said, "Okay, pick them up too." The police brought all 3 of them to the police station. Here, they were seated separately and questioned about what they had been doing in the last week. Here, one thing was clear to the police. These people were lying because their statements did not match each other. And secondly, these children, according to them, were college students, but they were very spoiled. They drank alcohol, roamed around, and did not study. However, seeing these things, the police could not arrest them or file a case against them. They could not charge them with murder. Because of this, after talking to them and questioning them, the police released them. But here, the police had a lot of suspicion on them. After a day or two, ACP Halalkar called Rajendra Jakal to the station again. He said, "I need to talk to you." He asked him what he did, how much he studied, all the normal things. In the course of the conversation, he told Rajendra Jakal that they were very worried about what was happening in Pune. "If you know anything about Anil Gokhale's murder, tell us, because everyone we've asked has said that they last saw Rajendra Jakal with Anil Gokhale." Now, Rajendra Jakal said, "Look, I think Anil Gokhale's murder and Prakash Hegde's murder are connected." Now, ACP Halalkar asked, "Prakash Hegde?" Rajendra Jakal said, "He also studied in our college, Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya, and his murder and Anil Gokhale's murder seem very connected to me." That day, Rajendra Jakal left, and the police investigated who he was, a Prakash Hegde, and they searched the file. When the police officers see him in that state, they realize that on January 16, 1976, they had written a report stating that Prakash Hegde, a student of Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya, was missing. The police also looked at other reports, but they found nothing about Prakash Hegde's murder. He was just missing. Now, the ACP thinks that if a government official, the police, doesn't know that Prakash Hegde is dead, then how does this Rajendra Jakal know that Prakash Hegde was murdered? Although at this time, the police do not arrest Rajendra Jakal and his entire team, they leave 2 or 3 police officers in plain clothes, meaning normal clothes, to monitor them. One day, these 4 were standing outside Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya. Rajendra Jakal and Harun Sadhu moved ahead, but Shantaram and Dilip was hawking. They said, "What will the police do next? What should we do next?" Then Dilip said, "Don't worry,
boss will handle everything. Now, there were two people standing behind them. They thought it was just some college professor or something, but those two were police officers. The police officers overheard this and reported it to their department. When a police officer who was sitting there heard this, a bell rang in his mind. Along with this, he remembered another report that was written at the police station, which they had not paid attention to. Now we need to go back a little. Today's date is November 22nd, 1976. By this time, the murder of the Abhyankar family had not happened. 3 members of the Joshi family had died, and the time between these 2 murders was ongoing. Here, if the Joshi Wafna's bungalow was a luxurious bungalow, 4 people would attack it at night. They would enter very quickly and try to loot the entire bungalow. But Joshi Wafna's servants were very strong bodybuilders, and they had also hired bodybuilders as their guards, who were very powerful people. Now, seeing their servants, these 4 people get scared and start shouting, "What should we do now? Should we go inside?" Then another person in between says, "Boss, should I come inside?" When they talked among themselves, they would call one person boss. So a voice came from in between, "Come out quickly." So here, everyone says that boss has asked them to come out. Now, Josamati Bhavna reports all this to the police. She tells the police everything. The police thought it was a case of theft, and at that time, the Joshi murder case had happened, so all attention was on that. Not much attention was paid to this. But now, when a police officer comes and says that Dilip Sutra and his friend were talking and saying, "What should we do now? Don't worry, boss will handle it," a bell rings in their mind, and they say that at least we know that these people attacked Josamati Bhavna's bungalow. Now, the police do not arrest them, but try to find more evidence against them. To find evidence, they go to their college again. There, they ask different students about these people. Some speak well of them out of fear, and some say, "Look, sir, these are vagrant boys. They keep roaming around." No one says much against them out of fear. They keep fighting, they have never seen good things, meaning the police heard a lot of bad things. Among them, there is a student named Satish who was quite scared. Perhaps he was doing this for some reason. The police ask him, "What happened to you? Tell us something about them too." So he says, "I know that these people are behind all the deaths in Pune." And he tells the police, "These people themselves told me that they killed all the people who died." Look, the police already
suspected them. Now, after this, the suspicion deepened even more. And along with this, another name is added to the story, Suhas Chandak. The police go to Suhas Chandak because Satish God had said that they had committed a murder in which Suhas Chandak had helped them. The police go to him and he gets scared. The police pick him up and take him to the police station. Here, the police tell him, "Look, we know that you killed or you helped in the murder. If you want to get a reduced sentence or no sentence at all, then tell us about that story that we are not aware of. Who is doing all this in Pune?" Here, Subhash Chandak gets scared and says that yes, I was also involved in a murder, and I will tell you everything about them. At the same time, he also agrees to become a government witness. So, in this way, the police now officially take these 4, namely Rajendra Jagtap, Shantaram, Dilip, and Harun Shah, to the police station. Here, they are interrogated and they again mislead the police, talking about irrelevant things. But this time, the police finally present all the evidence and interrogate them strictly. So, later, they confess their crimes and tell the police the story that had terrified the whole of Pune. The story begins from the same Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya. These 4 come from different backgrounds, but their intentions and their actions were similar. A strong group of these people forms in college. There used to be a lot of fights in college. They would fight, tease girls, do drugs, and drink alcohol. Rajendra Jagtap was their boss, and these 3 followed his orders. Rajendra Jagtap had set up a den in a shed 5 kilometers away from the college. They would sit there, drink alcohol, talk, and have fun. Now, these people wanted to drink alcohol, but they didn't have money, so they started committing thefts. They would steal someone's bike or bicycle and sell it. They would get money, but these people thought that now they should hit a big target. So, these people decided to kill Prakash Hegde. Actually, these people had not decided to kill him. Let us explain. they told Subhash Chandak to bring Prakash Hegde to them because his father had a dhaba named Vishwas, which was running well. These people thought that they would catch him, ask his father for money, and get a lot of money. Now, Subhash Chandak knew that these people would do something wrong. They would beat him up, but he didn't think it would be too much. So, what did he do? He brought Prakash Hegde with him on some pretext. He also went with him. Further on, they both stop at Rajendra Jagtap's den, where all 4 members of his team were sitting. They catch Prakash Hegde and start beating him there. Subhash Chandak also sees him there. He thought that they would beat him up. The matter escalates to kidnapping. They would kidnap someone and ask his father for money. Here, a letter is written by Prakash Hegde, and it is said that I am running away from home and I need money, and Prakash Hegde signs below it. Now, this letter had to reach his father, but before that, what they do is, they strangle Prakash Hegde with a blue nylon rope, put him in an iron box, and throw him down into the Pesha Park after putting stones on top. And this Pesha Park was very close to his father's restaurant, Vishwas. The next day, these people go and give a letter, which they had made Prakash Hegde write, to his father. They don't give it directly, but they throw it near his dhaba. When the family members read that letter, they thought that their son had left, and they thought what they wanted to think. But below were Prakash Hegde's signs. They were surprised that the handwriting was their son Prakash Hegde's, but the signs below, Prakash Hegde's handwriting was on the letter, but he signed his own name below it. He always used his family name, Devdas. This way, he arrived at the police station and explained the situation. The police listened to him, thinking that his son might have just gone somewhere or something similar, not taking it very seriously. A year passed, and the family didn't know where their son was, where he went, or what happened to him. The kidnappers had already killed his son before collecting the ransom money.
This is how their story progresses. This was their first major act, so they left Pune and went to Kolhapur. They thought it was time to go underground. In Kolhapur, they thought, why not strike here too? So they started keeping an eye on a businessman. They had learned everything about him, that there would be a lot of money in the house, this and that, cars, etc. But they didn't know one thing. He had his own gun for safety and also had guards for protection. They had to flee for their lives from there. They returned to Pune. They committed the Joshi murder, in which they killed 3 people. Then they went to commit a major act at Joshi Bafna's bungalow because they didn't get much from Joshi's family. They were very angry and disappointed that they weren't getting anything here. Then came December 1st, the time of the Abhyankar family. They went there with the intention of robbery, committed such a big crime, and later caught Anil Gokhale. Actually, Anil Gokhale had done nothing. Anil Gokhale had an elder brother named Joint Gokul, who also studied with Rajendra Jackal. They must have had some disagreement. In the evening, Anil Gokhale was walking somewhere. Rajendra Jackal came on his bike and asked Anil Gokhale to sit behind him, offering him a lift. At first, Anil refused, but later he sat down, thinking, where else would I go on foot? But he took him to his hideout, where he was killed. Now, with all this evidence, a case against them began in court. And then, on September 28, 1978, these people were sentenced to death by the judge of the Pune Sessions Court. They then appealed to the High Court, saying that their sentence was too harsh. The High Court also confirmed the sentence, stating that they should be hanged. After the disappointment in the High Court, they went to the Supreme Court and appealed for a reduction in their sentence, but they were still sentenced to death. After this, they appealed to the president to reduce their sentence, but in the end, it was decided that they would be given the death penalty. Then they requested to be killed by electric chair, saying they didn't want to be hanged because it was very painful. One might ask, the 10 murders you committed were done in the same way. But in the end, all 4 of them, the 4 friends, were hanged together. On that day, the fear among the people of Pune, the anxiety of going out at night, lessened a bit. But the atmosphere of fear that is once created in society never goes away. Even today, at night, mothers give examples to their children, saying, "Go to sleep early," or "Don't go out of the house," because some monster like Rajendra Jackal might be roaming the streets.
Thank you for watching.